So what are the most common causes of lawsuits? What if I told you the average person in America faces a 1 in 3 chance of being sued in their lifetime? And not because they're reckless, not because they did something wrong, but simply because lawsuits have become a business model in this country. Slip and fall, car crash, divorce. The employee says something you didn't even know happened, and just like that, boom, a lawsuit. So today we're diving deep into the most common causes of lawsuits, both personal and professional, and more importantly, how to bulletproof your assets before somebody sues the pants off of you. I'm the business guy, the CEO of the Lawyers Limited law firm and asset protection planners. Over 34 years, I've helped business owners and high net worth individuals legally protect what they've built and have built the largest asset protection firm in the nation. In fact, our firm has set up more Cook Islands trusts than anybody in the world, and I've personally been setting them up there for nearly 30 years. So before we go further, hit that subscribe button. This channel is where the wealthy go to learn how to stay that way, so let's get to it. Now, there are two major categories of liability: personal and professional. So let's start with personal, because if you drive a car, own a dog, even have a teenager living under your roof, you're at risk. Now, as we read through these, do you know who is the most vulnerable? The ones who, as I read through these threats, say to themselves, well, that doesn't apply to me, because those are the ones who let their guards down and are most susceptible to attack. Whereas not all of these may apply to you. Don't get too smug, because it only takes one of them to wipe you out financially. So here goes. Number 1 on our list for the most common cause of lawsuits is automobile accidents. Auto accidents are one of the leading causes of personal lawsuits, and according to the National Safety Council, an average cost of a non-fatal disabling car accident in 2023 was $155,000. In fact, 5 years ago, I was hit on my bicycle, broke my neck. Just the medical fees alone were around $100,000. So that was a $300,000 lawsuit right there, just because that was the maximum insurance could pay. And that's per person, by the way, $155,000 on average per person. Now add multiple injured parties and property damage, add pain and suffering, and if your policy limit is $100,000 and the total claim is $600,000, well, guess who they're coming after for the $500,000? You. So that's why a Cook Islands trust with a Cook Islands LLC inside of it is so powerful. We make you the manager of the LLC while things are calm. Then when a lawsuit hits, our licensed bonded trustee company law firm based offshore beyond the U.S. jurisdiction steps in to protect you. So it's like installing a vault before a thief comes through the window. Reason number 2 is callable loans. Now here's a little known one. Callable loans. These allow the lender to demand full repayment at any time. And if you can't pay up immediately, guess what? They can sue you, especially common in private real estate lending and certain business loans. In fact, a client of ours had a $2 million commercial loan during COVID. He couldn't repay on demand. The lender sued, won a judgment, and was going after everything that he owned until we stepped in and protected his assets. In fact, this just came to mind. That's how financial guru Dave Ramsey got his start in his 20s. He became a millionaire in his 20s, and then some bank called the loans and everything went smash and it had to file for bankruptcy. Number 3, unpaid debt lawsuits. Now it's simple. If you default, creditors can sue. And they often do, especially if they sniff out that you have money. One missed payment on a credit card or personal loan might seem minor, but in court, it's a paper trail to a judgment lien. Reason number 4, divorce. Now, let me be clear. Divorce is one of the nastiest legal wars you'll ever fight. Even with a prenuptial agreement, judges can override prenups, especially when emotions are high and kids are involved. And once that prenup is tossed, your business, your investments, your retirement accounts, they're all fair game. We once had a tech entrepreneur come to us mid-divorce. His wife's attorney was clawing into his startup stock options. We structured a Cook Islands trust to hold his equity, safeguard it through a Cook Islands LLC, and the court couldn't touch it. Game over. Number 5 is social host liability. Are you throwing a party? Better check your insurance policy, because many party liabilities are not covered. If somebody drinks too much, slips on your stairs, or gets in a car accident after leaving your house, you can be sued. Social host liability laws vary by state, but most courts hold that you can be responsible if negligence can be proven. Number 6, vicarious liability. Now, you can be held liable for somebody else's actions. Say someone like a friend or family member drives your car and crashes into someone. You didn't give them permission, doesn't matter. If the car is registered in your name, you're a target, and lawsuits from injuries or wrongful death can easily reach into the million. In fact, many people don't realize when there's a car wreck, they sue the driver of the car and the owner of the car. Both are liable. Dog bites and animal attacks. Certain breeds like pit bulls, Dobermans, or German Shepherds carry higher liability. Even if your dog bites somebody on your own property, you're open to litigation. In fact, according to the Insurance Information Institute, an average dog bite claim was $64,555 in 2022. In fact, we just had some friends of ours just down the street here, and they had a dog that went out and just nipped the mail carrier just a little bit. There wasn't any injury, no blood, just a little nip. And the mail carrier sued, and the insurance company's having to pay out, and they're personally on the hook for part of it. But many claims exceed that, especially if reconstructive surgery is involved. Number 8, defamation, libel, and slander. Say something damaging online, even if you delete it later, you could still be on the hook. In a digital world, defamation lawsuits have really exploded, especially among professionals. Just one bad tweet and you're spending $50,000 to $100,000 defending yourself. Number 9, negligent supervision. If somebody gets hurt on your watch, a child at your house, a guest at your pool, even an employee on your property, you could be sued for failing to supervise. Someone used the pool of a neighbor of ours without their permission. They got hurt and they were sued for everything they own. Number 10, homeowner negligence. Ever slipped shoveling ice off your sidewalk or let the front steps crumble a bit? One fall and one attorney is all it takes. And here's the kicker. Standard homeowners insurance often has low liability limits. Some policies are capped at $300,000, but what if the claim is for $1 million? They come for your savings. Okay, so that was personal. Next up, professional liability threats. So even if you've never been sued personally, if you run a business, you're sitting on a landmine. Number 1, breach of contract. If you sign a contract and don't fulfill your end, even if it's because of a supply chain issue or staffing problem, that other party can sue. These lawsuits are among the most common and often the most financially damaging, especially in industries like real estate, construction, and tech. Number 2, employment discrimination. Ask the wrong question in a job interview, like whether somebody plans to have kids, and you can face a lawsuit. In fact, the EEOC filed 73,485 workplace discrimination charges in 2023 alone, and many settle for 6 figures. Number 3, employee misconduct. If your employee acts out of line, even off the clock, you could still be on the hook. Assault, harassment, or fraud committed by employees often trigger lawsuits against the company. And piercing the corporate veil is easier than you think when negligence is alleged. Number 4, faulty products. Sell something to somebody that's defective and you're liable. And you don't need to manufacture it. Just selling it can bring lawsuits. This is especially dangerous for Amazon sellers and e-commerce business. Number 5, malpractice. Doctors, lawyers, CPAs, you already know this risk. But what most professionals miss is this. When your malpractice policy maxes out and the judgment is bigger, they often go after your personal bank accounts, real estate, brokerage accounts, and more. In fact, we helped a plastic surgeon who faced a $5.2 million malpractice verdict. His insurance capped out at $2 million. With our offshore trust and equity stripping, he would have lost his home, his surgery center, and his retirement portfolio. Number 6, sexual harassment allegations. Even unintentional comments or somebody lying about what you said can trigger HR complaints and lawsuits. And you don't need to be the one making them. If your company doesn't address claims properly, you can still be sued. Number 7, slip and fall accidents. And this is one that's easy to overlook until it happens. A customer trips on a rug at your office, sues you for $750,000. Your general liability policy covers $250,000, so guess who's writing a check for the other $500K? Number 8, trademark infringement. Use a name or logo that you didn't know was protected. It doesn't matter. You can still be sued for damages, attorney's fees, and even forced to rebrand your entire company. Number 9, workers' compensation overflow. Now, workers get injured, your insurance covers up to $250,000, but their long-term care costs $600,000. The delta? That comes from you. Number 10, cybersecurity, and data breaches. If you store customer data, even just names and emails, you're a target. In fact, according to IBM, the average cost of a data breach in 2023 was $4.45 million. Small businesses are hit hardest because they're least prepared. Lawsuits can come from customers, regulators, and even partners who rely on your system. Number 11, failure to warn or false advertising. If your product causes injury and didn't include a warning, boom, lawsuit. Same for claims that exaggerate benefits. In fact, one fitness supplement company got hit with a $2.4 million false advertising suit over an all-natural claim. Turns out it had some synthetic additives. Number 12, wrongful termination. Even if you followed HR protocol, a fired employee can sue. In fact, in California, these cases are especially brutal. The average settlement, $40,000 to $100,000, but many exceeded $500,000 if discrimination or retaliation is claimed. Number 13, breach of fiduciary duty. If you run a company or manage investments, you have a fiduciary duty to act on the client's or shareholders' best interest. One slip up, like a conflict of interest or poor documentation, and you could be held personally liable. Okay, so here's how to defend yourself before a lawsuit strikes. You can't always prevent lawsuits, but you can make sure they don't destroy your life. So here's where asset protection comes in. I'm talking about legally moving your wealth into structures that creditors can't touch, even if you lose the lawsuit. The best tool in the world for this, a Cook Islands Trust. Now here's how it works. You set up a Cook Islands Trust, governed by the laws of the Cook Islands, not the US. And inside that trust, we place a Cook Islands LLC. You're the manager, you control the assets while things are calm, but if a legal storm rolls in, our offshore law firm, licensed, bonded, and trained for battle, steps in as the manager of that LLC that's inside your trust. They're outside the US court jurisdiction, so even if a US judge says bring the money back, they don't have to comply. In fact, we've used this structure in conjunction with other tools to protect homes, businesses, investment portfolios, crypto, gold, intellectual property, you name it. And we've done it more than anybody else in the world. So in closing, don't wait. Don't wait until it's too late. In fact, I've been doing this for 34 years, and let me tell you, people rarely call us before a lawsuit is on the horizon. They call us when they're scared, when their bank account is frozen, when their attorney just told them the verdict. Don't be one of those people. Go to assetprotectionplanners.com and you can schedule a free consultation. We'll show you how to build a fortress around your wealth before it's too late. And if you got value from this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, turn on notifications, because the more you know, the better you protect what's yours. So thanks for watching. I'm the Business Guy, and we'll see you next time.